So we're here today in the wonderful studio at Podcast Labs. What are we doing here?
Well, we love coming here now. I feel like we're moving in.
Part of the furniture.
We are. So a few months ago, my wonderful, incredible friend Simone, who is a health and wellness practitioner and all sorts of all-round amazing businesswoman, icon, minor celeb, model, you know, all-round queen, invited me to be on her podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just after the first lockdown, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to be on this amazing podcast filming, and please come along and see me."
She said, "I'm going to be on this amazing podcast talking about her own podcast."
Yeah,
wow.
She did, yeah. And she asked me to come along and be on her podcast, which is awesome because I got to hang out with one of my besties.
Yeah.
But in the process, we discovered this really cool place.
Yeah.
Called Podcast Labs, and we had been talking, hadn't we, for some time about doing a podcast for our business.
Over a year.
We've
been talking about it for.
And we probably initially sort of thought, let's just do it from home, didn't we?
Yeah.
So our business is we coach salon owners, don't we? So we have a goal to help salon owners find more success and more freedom in their business.
Yeah.
We do it all online. It's all digital. And we do events permitting as well, where we bring people into a room and teach them stuff. But we knew there was a lot of power in doing a podcast because it's a really, really great way to get our message out to loads of people in an interesting way. So people can take us on the dog walk every morning.
Absolutely.
But we were going to do it from home, weren't we?
We were.
And we decided that probably wasn't a great idea.
Well, look, the thing
initially.
was that I knew that if we did that, it would be me doing all of the work.
Yes. It would
Because
have been.
doing a podcast isn't just sitting in front of a microphone
No.
and recording. In fact, that's
Correct.
It's just the beginning, isn't it? And
What's the easy bit?
that's the easy bit. And obviously you'll remember I actually had a previous podcast, which I did edit it all myself, a football podcast that I started, which is still going actually.
It is,
It's nothing to do with me anymore, but it's still going. And that one, obviously I did the editing, I sourced the music, I did literally everything start to finish myself. And it took me hours and hours and hours to do it. And it sounded rubbish. It sounded like it was someone in their bedroom, which of course it was. Which is okay. It wasn't like it was a big deal. But what I also realized was that now for our proper business one, where we're a proper business, it needed to sound proper. And the two are just completely incomparable. Because now if you download a podcast and listen to it, and it's one where someone's obviously recorded at home, yes, of course, the content is the most important thing, but it does convey a message about how professionally edited and put together it is, about whether or not, you know, it says something about you and your business, doesn't it? It makes a statement.
But I also think now it's got to the point where people have the expectations that they want to hear that good quality when they're listening to something. And I personally, I started listening to a podcast on cryptocurrency a few months ago, which has been very much done in somebody's bedroom. And I actually stopped listening because it was just so difficult to listen to.
Really?
Actually wasn't.
So it actually put you off?
Put me off, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I mean, the content wasn't that great either.
They've obviously never heard of Podcast Labs.
They're in America, so it'd be a long commute for them to come and visit. But
it wouldn't, because they were. I guess they could still be edited, everything, even virtually.
I suppose they could. But obviously coming along with Simone that time made me go home to you and say, look, we need to speak to these guys. And we subsequently came in for a meeting and now they handle all of our podcasts for us.
Well, as I say, the thing is, it's such a slick process from start to finish, and we can just upload the bits that we need and cut bits in and say, oh, can you chop there and add that bit there? And actually, I don't like how that sounds. And it's awesome because the man hours that are required to do that, especially when you don't know what you're doing, this is the thing, isn't it? And you know, actually a lot of what we talk about when we are coaching salon owners, or especially that you're always going on about it, is delegation.
Yep.
Right? You can't do it all yourself.
Nope.
And you've got to pass out the things that other people are better than you at, you know? And there's no question that the team here are much better editing podcasts than we are and making them sound awesome and making us sound borderline professional.
Yeah.
Plus also as well, then the distribution of it afterwards, getting all the graphics, doing the sound clips, all of that takes hours and hours, and I'm rubbish at doing all of that.
But it's just the knowledge behind how you get it onto the platforms, when you're best to get it onto the platforms to get the best results.
Exactly.
All of this kind of stuff that I just don't have that scope of information in my mind. There's many other things that I'm good at. This is not one of them.
No.
And
you just want to turn up and talk.
I want to
and go
turn
home
up
again.
and talk because I'm good at that. So I'm then quite happy to leave it to the experts because I have no issue delegating.
No, you do not. No.
So, but I can honestly say it's been a pretty good move because we went straight in at the #1 marketing podcast in the UK.
Boom.
And number 36 business podcast in the world.
Wow.
So I'd say I'm pretty impressed by that.
Well, also we've had multiple thousand downloads in just the first few weeks. And I think it's fair to say that would not have happened had we tried to do it ourselves. It would have cost us a lot of time. It would have cost probably quite a few arguments between us.
Possibly our marriage.
Quite a few late nights. Might have cost us the maggot marriage. And I dread to think what the legal costs involved in those implications would be. So all in all, I think we made a super smart decision. I think
Podcast Labs have saved our marriage.
Podcast Labs have saved our marriage, definitely, and are definitely worth every single penny that we pay them. And I'm sure that our relationship with them will be a long and fruitful one.
Yes, we will be continuing to deliver loads of podcasts and we'll be coming and hanging out with these guys to do it. Because as far as we're concerned, they're doing a pretty good job.
Great coffee too.